Welcome to the Productivity Podcast. This is a bonus episode as we return from the Retail Technology Show in Excel last week at the time of recording. Delighted to welcome Sue and James Boll, who were on the stand, and hopefully his feet have cooled down like mine. Hi, both.
Hi, Simon.
So, interesting show. First year at the Excel as it moved from Olympia. James, do you want to talk us through your thoughts as you kind of cast your mind back to last week and some of the things that maybe brought them some light bulbs or caused curiosity?
Yeah, I mean, this was a great experience for me this year. It was my second retail technology show, and therefore I had a little bit better idea what to expect this year than last year. And I have to say, the show didn't disappoint. There were two areas that I was particularly interested in. One was AI, how much people were talking about having AI, and the other was some general innovations. We spent some time going around the Innovation Award winners at the show, and there were some really neat ideas, I think, on display there. On top of that, I felt like it was just a great opportunity to network with clients and potential clients, strangers, and just get together and see what the temperature of the industry was. So yeah, I really enjoyed it overall.
And Sue, your initial reflections?
Yeah, I felt the venue, it was good to have more space. It felt like there was a bit more room to breathe, and it got very cramped at the last venue. So it was good to have that. And yeah, as James said, it's always good to catch up with lots of familiar faces, whether that's clients that we've worked with, other vendors, people that have swapped jobs and are doing something different that you get a chance to catch up with. So yeah, it's always good to go along and see people.
Yeah, agreed. Like the new venue, took a bit of getting used to as we'd got into a tried and trusted routine in the old one, but relatively straightforward, which is good. So let's start with the big one then. Let's start with AI. I think we talked on this kind of review last year around lots of AI badges, lots of AI words on stands. I think, Sue, you feel it's progressed a little bit more this year?
Yeah, there still is that AI marketing element where, and in some cases, it can still be a technology in search of something to do with it. But actually, I think we're starting to see some good use cases come through now. So people are using it for forecasting in quite interesting ways. So whether that's planning specialist resource, applying it to stock and that sort of thing. So I think there's some genuine use cases. It feels like people are being relatively quiet about them still, but as you kind of dig into it a bit, you start to think there is some really interesting stuff starting to happen.
And James, do you share that view? Have you seen lots of development in that area on the stands and from all the people you were speaking to?
Yeah, in addition to what Sue said, I saw a bit more use of computer vision this year, or at least openly shared more than last year. So some people who are using computer vision on CCTV to make heat maps of where customers and staff were standing, to actually looking at CCTV cameras that were pointing at the doors to count footfall going past the store, which was interesting, and also some facial recognition and some really neat computer vision stuff to identify when people were putting things in their pockets. So there was one system where the computer could tell if someone was shoplifting and could send an alert to a security center and record the face so they could go on a register for the security team in future. So yeah, I thought there were some real specific use cases that might add value for retailers and not just kind of whizzy things people have developed for the sake of it. There are also a couple of examples of rapid data mining, where people were taking data and analyzing it kind of the AI was analyzing it in real time to generate new insights, which I thought was really powerful. So yeah, I think a lot more specific application this year than last year.
That's good to see. I think we were skeptical last year, weren't we, of the marketing angle over the proof in the pudding. So good to see that's come through.
It'd be interesting to see where it's at next year. Because if you think, I mean, typically within tech world, as you learn stuff, it kind of grows exponentially. So I think there should be some really interesting stuff on it this time next year.
Yeah,
and people not just saying, "Oh, we've got AI," but saying we use AI to do X, Y, and Z, and actually marketing the benefits rather than the feature.
Yeah, lots of cool stuff. was having some interesting conversations around using AI to forecast opening hours in light of making sure you're open at the right time with Ed and the team at Solved by AI. So yeah, lots going on in that space, lots of interesting conversation. I think you mentioned off air, so it feels also a little bit like some people are keeping it close to their chest. They think they maybe got the golden or the silver bullet and they don't want to share it yet.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's AI. Good to see it moving forward. A couple of things that surprised me, the amount of hardware, I suppose, and a bit of technology that was there around cash. Now, lots of coffee shops are now cashless and others wanting to deal less with cash. So I was surprised that there was that much still there around cash. Do you agree, Sue?
Yeah, it's surprising when you think that cash it keeps dropping all the time, doesn't it? And there's conversations at the moment about should the limit of what you can put through on a card be increased as well. So I guess for businesses that do continue to use it, then there's you do have to have efficient ways to handle it. And there's no doubt there is some smart equipment for kind of automatic counting and all that sort of thing. So perhaps it'll be with us longer than we think.
Yeah, maybe that's just my view, but surprised by that. Saw all the usual workforce management vendors there, so good to catch up with everybody on the stand and see how their technology again is starting to leverage AI in a more detailed way for the forecasting piece. James, we looked at some interesting RFID technology, didn't we?
Yeah, there was one business in particular I recall that was using fixed RFID scanners, so people didn't need to use handhelds, so you could tell where any stock was in the store at any time and actually see how it moved around, which was interesting. And it felt like that technology was potentially kind of moving on to be a bit more sophisticated. I don't know what you found, Simon.
Yeah, from removing the manual process of having to wand everything, it does it itself, which kind of links into the other one we saw, James, on the footfall counting that didn't need any install, which kind of freaked me a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, this was an organisation that was using pings from mobile phones kernel layers to see how many mobile phones were in different areas. So, a bit of an insight there in that your location can be tracked even if your mobile phone's turned off. But actually, potentially powerful, potentially a very powerful solution.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that worried me a little bit that they could but you can get the location of your phone even when it's off. But I suppose we shouldn't be surprised. Stock management, so lots on prompted markdowns, intelligent markdowns, reducing waste. And Sue, that's probably one of the big things left for retailers to tackle, isn't it? Is, well, one, the stock management piece, but within that, the whole markdown piece, if you've got date-sensitive product.
Yes, and if you think about the journey that a lot of retailers have been on, where the things that took time were taking cash from customers, and self-checkouts made a big difference there. We're seeing increasing adoption of electronic shelf edge labels, so that whole pricing piece and maintaining things has gone down. So the bits that are left are the physical putting stuff on the shelf. And then it's very time consuming to be doing markdowns, especially if you're doing 2 or 3 cycles of it during the day. It can become kind of a full-time job for somebody, or even more in a bigger supermarket or whatever. So really interesting to see those developments around prompting markdowns, so you know when stuff is going out of date.
Yeah, absolutely. And last but not least, lots on colleague comms. So again, been a theme really since lockdown, where there was that recognition of how do you reach people that work in a store other than the leadership team. So lots around the comms and engagement apps. Spent some time with the team at WorkJam looking at those points, task, training, frontline comms. So a really interesting piece that's opening up to many more user cases, linking to WFM, HR systems, etc. So always good to see where the development's going there. Any other bits that you've thought of, Sue, that we didn't cover in my list there?
No, I don't think so. They were the things that struck me while I was there.
Good. James, anything from you?
Well, there were 2 things. One was something we remarked upon at the time, which was the absence of many people talking about the customer experience, particularly around customer experience measurement. We talked to one guy from a startup that had won an innovation award. He was using AI to mine data on the fly, which was interesting. But you would think potentially how you differentiate your customer experience might also, and how you can use tech to do that and measure the impacts might be on people's minds. So I was surprised there wasn't much of that there. And the second thing was obviously it's a point that James BW, our colleague, made about all of these things, which is everybody was claiming a return on investment, but of course you actually need to get in and measure how much time you're saving with some of these things, and how people didn't seem to be talking to us as much as they could have about that. So that was something else I guess I would note.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So we're going back next year, which is good for us, good for them, good if you want to come and speak to us, not so good if you don't want to come and speak to us. But a couple of key events that are coming up. So we've got our forum on the 11th September in Birmingham, so you can register on the website if you've not already. And we've got our innovation land that's this year, where we've got some exciting tech partners that are doing some cool stuff that you'll be able to have a chat with. And then we'll also be at NRF Europe, which is in Paris the week after. So lots to come. Keep an eye out on the website for details and our socials. And James, Sue, thanks very much. We'll catch up soon.
Bye.
Thank you.